No one there. You're all just kind of sitting, being so well behaved.
And I was telling him, I said, don't look out. You're gonna get us mobbed. You know? All right, well, hey, thank you so much for being with us. And I'm just tickled.
So there's a podium in the way, and you're just going to watch the telly.
Yeah. Oh, I was supposed to tell you all, no flash photography and no video. I'm sorry.
Those are the rules. Don't break the rules.
I think I'm also supposed to...
And I tried, my plan was to run the two things side by side and never let them meet. So kind of be an actor and also be a musician and keep them really separate and just do it. But then the acting kind of took over, and I started writing a lot of stuff for theatre and different bits and pieces, and playing a lot of stuff, playing parts that needed me to, you know, play piano or sing or whatever. So they've kind of just merged. And I'm trying to separate them both again now. So I'm kind of doing some secret music that no one knows about.
Oh, secret music. How many instruments do you play?
I don't know, a few. But I'm not like classically trained or anything. Like I kind
You're
of
just a natural talent.
well, no, I just kind of sit and listen. But I spend a lot of time just noodling, which is good. But yeah, but I'm writing like professionally. Like I'm writing a show for the National Theatre in London at the moment. So that's on at Christmas, about a bear who loses his hat and stolen by a rabbit. It's amazing. It's like, I want my hat back. So that's good. And yeah, I'm writing some other bits and pieces. But I got the chance to do a musical called Once in New York. Job I've ever had, and I think I got to play a musician, it was really cool. I still can't quite believe that I got the chance to do that. It's great. So yeah.
All right. Well, now, in terms of your acting, though, I understand that your mother's an actress. Sorry, puppeteer.
Yeah, my mom's a puppeteer.
Right. Now, I'm assuming that's part of what led to your interest in,
yeah, definitely. I had a kind of strange childhood, because my dad was in a band called the Fine Young Cannibals, who played There's actual noise of shop and all. He used to play keyboards for them. He used to play for loads of people. Like, he was like a session musician who did all their tours and stuff, and played with Edwin Starr and Ruby Turner and the Cannibals and loads of other people. So he was on tour when I was a really young kid over here, so thanks America. My mum was in a puppet theatre company, it was great. The puppet theatre company was great, but I used to tour around with her, and we lived in a tent for a while, and I used to help set up all the props and then just sit playing with puppets while she was on stage. So it was kind of an slightly odd upbringing. So I was kind of brought up in the theatre, so I didn't really know any better. So I just thought, that's what I'll do.
What is there better?
I just can't do anything. So that's I always thought, I've made my own path, I've chosen my own destiny, and I absolutely haven't. I'm completely been dictated by my parents' influence on me.
Did you ever have the opportunity to tour with your dad?
We did. I wrote a musical a while ago called Been So Long, which was it was a funk soul musical. And my dad's a Hammond organ player. He came and played Hammond on that, which was really cool. He was great. So yeah, we got to tour around a bit together. And we had the best day of our lives together. We got to record at Abbey Road, which was just like, that was amazing.
All right, now, of course, I'm assuming that there are going to be loads of questions about Broadchurch and about Doctor Who, but this new thing that you're doing, where you're Rip Hunter, time as, what's this called, the Legends of Tomorrow?
Legends of Tomorrow. I can't say the name seriously, I have to do voice over voice. I'm really excited about it. I don't know anything about it, so I can't spoil anything, which is great. But going to be good.
Of course, well, you're going to be in it. Of course it's gonna be.
Yeah, but we've done some promo stuff for it, and I've met all the other guys. It's a big cast, some really cool people in it. You know, I think what they've done with Flash and Arrow is great, and I think this is going to be a bigger scale thing for them, and I'm really excited about being a part of it. I'm meant to be getting in shape, and I haven't started yet. So I'm slightly hoping that they push it back slightly so I can, yeah. There's lots of really tasty food around, and it needs to be eaten. Yeah, so I've stopped that now. Yeah, and I get to play a time traveler, which I've done before. So as far as I'm concerned, it's just going to be really easy. No, it's great to be the guy he's really different from any other part I've played. He's in charge and mysterious and aggressive and all the things that I am in real life. So it's nice to have an opportunity to show my real personality on screen.
Were you at all familiar with the character?
No, I wasn't. And when they asked me to do it, I was like, who is this guy? And they sent me a load of comics with this really ripped kind of all-American guy. And I was like, are you sure? That's what you... But then he's different in the way each artist drew him in each story, because he pops up in different DC stories. I've been doing lots of research, which is just sitting at home watching, reading comic books, which is really difficult. But he's really different each time he appears, and they kind of reinvented him slightly. He kind of turns up and saves the day, or kind of, you know, if there's problems with time in the DC universe, he's normally the guy that kind of comes in and sorts it out or not. But I was reading some of the ones from the 50s, and they're like proper like, I don't know, you should go back, if you haven't, go back and revisit some of the kind of old DC comics. It's a real, it really shows what was kind of going on at the time, the kind of, just the way people think of what was entertainment back then. The stories were much simpler, they were more action adventure and really misogynistic, and I don't know, like, I mean, they're great, but wow. Like, you would never get away with a lot of the stuff that they wrote then, now. So it's good that times have changed. Yeah, but I'm really excited because I think we get a chance to slightly kind of reinvent it ourselves, which I'm excited about. While still staying true to, you know, those guys are, like Andrew and Mark and Greg, the people who run those shows, they're really big fans, and they want to, you know, add to the legacy and keep it going. So I've got complete faith that they'll stay true to it and enhance it at the same time. So yeah, it's really exciting.
That's a difficult balancing act, because, as you say, a lot of these old stories, there's, you know, they're misogynistic and, you know, some other elements that you don't want, but then there's a lot of elements that you do.
Yeah.
And yet they have sent you this stack of comics to do some research, you know, and, you know, they want to be true to them, but they want to go in some other direction.
Yeah, and I think it's about, you know, adding to the stories. You know, I think they're such great writers. They're gonna really, from what I know about the stories, it's really cool, and I can't talk about it. It's really very cool, and I have no, I'm not worried for a second that they're going to mess it up. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, one thing that's good is, you know, especially having been connected to a property like Doctor Who, that has the longevity that it has, you know, you're accustomed to dealing with fans who are very serious about the product.
Yeah.
And, yeah, you know, so, and this is going to be no different. I mean, just to warn you.
The thing is, like, I've never made that noise before. You guys know more about it than I do, like, about Doctor Who, which is, like, I know a lot about it because I was in it. I know a lot about what I did in it, but the the real fans really know, like, you guys really know your stuff, which is intimidating at times, but also wonderful.
Well, that means that people are going to hang on, because being a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you say is going to be.
It's funny because I get people come up and quote lines to me that I've said. Now I said these lines quite a long time ago, and I don't really retain them in my mind. So it's some of the things you guys say to me. It's weird. 'Cause I remember them. Yeah.
Well, it's a whole new thing with the comics. And,
I can't remember your name. I met a great kid earlier on who's on the I just spotted you on the front row, who's dressed as Rory, and it's totally made my day. He's dribbled on his costume as much as I have.
Well, I can't think of a better segue to opening up to ask some questions. I know we've got
Run to the mic!
here.
Run to the mic! Fight!
And if you want to kind of alternate, or
Wow, you guys
so you don't have to play favorites. I can point, or what do you want?
Let's alternate.
Okay.
And we'll start here because you've got your hand up, which is very polite, so well done, thank you.
There are three, so we got
there's three?
Yes.
We'll go 1, 2, 3, and then we'll pick the best one.
Hi, Globe Theater, working there and specifically playing Mephistopheles.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear about it.
It was, so I played Mephistopheles in Dr. Faustus a while ago. And in theatre I've got the chance to do quite a lot of varied stuff. And when they asked me to play the devil, I said, yes. It was amazing. I was terrified of the space, and I've been a fan of the play for years, so I knew the play quite well. But yeah, it was a real privilege to act in that space. And after a couple of shows, it becomes the most amazing space to work in, because you share light in there. So the audience, there's no, it's outdoors, and the audience are kind of standing up in front of you and around you. So you share a common space. It's not like the actors and then the audience. And once you acknowledge that, so I'm getting really in depth on it. But once you acknowledge that, it's just brilliant, because you can feel people listening, and it's totally magical. And if you're ever in London, I really recommend going to see anything there, because it's really, really great. Yeah. Thank you. Next.
Hi, I was wondering how was working with Karen Gillan and Matt Smith?
It was really good. It's such a rare thing to get to work with people for that long amount of time and get to do the type of stuff that we got to do together and experience together. And we all no one else knew what we were going through apart from each other, so there was a common bond. And me and Matt had been mates for a while, which was great. So it was great to be able to kind of spend time and work. And it was a lot of work, do you know what I mean? But we had a lot of fun doing it, and we're still all really good friends. So it was like coming to work with your best mates every day, which has its plus points and its really negative points as well. You know what I mean? So, it was great. Yeah, it was great. Thanks. I can't see you, I can just see a blinding light, so apologies if I'm not.
I was wondering, since you said you're such a big comic fan, if you could be the companion of any other superhero besides the Doctor, whose companion would you be and what superhero powers?
I always wanted to be Robin when I was a kid. But it's funny. It's so funny that I got to play a Doctor Who companion, because I'd always imagined myself as the sidekick. Like always. Whenever I'd watch stuff, I'd always relate far more to the sidekick than the hero. So it's so yeah, I always wanted to be right. Also, he had a cool costume, and it was bright, but it was really cool. Yeah.
Hi, I was wondering what was the best part and what was the hardest or most challenging part about being in Once on Broadway?
Oh wow. It was a total joy to do. Living in New York was amazing, and I want to get back and do that some more. Getting to sing those songs every day. If you haven't heard them, look them. Glenn Hansard, who wrote the songs, is a genius, and watch him performing anything, and you will fall in love with the man. He's unbelievable. He's got such amazing heart and brings such truth to everything he does. He's a real hero of mine. So getting to do that and working with a bunch of people who really care about what they're doing in that theatre. The hard thing, I mean, just stamina-wise, doing 8 shows a week and singing really high was hard, and I had to be really sensible as a human when I was in New York and not give in to the temptations of the night, and go to bed on time and steam. I did a lot of steaming. All of that, just to keep my voice, because I lose my voice quite easily because I shout a lot. That was a bit. Overall, it was amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
So, since it seems to be mandatory if you grow up in Britain to love Doctor Who, I'm just wondering who your favorite Doctor was?
See, when I was growing up, it wasn't on, so I didn't. I hadn't really watched it very much. But that's not a new one. I remember sitting at my nan's house watching, because you're kind of right. It's slightly different to that though. If you're born in the UK, you just know what it is. I think you're born with the knowledge of what Doctor Who is. So because it's referenced daily, hourly, and it's a way of to know that it's just referenced a lot. There was Sylvester McCoy episodes on when I was a kid, and I remember watching some of those and thinking Sophie Aldred was brilliant. But I was quite young, so I would, as it was the only one I saw, I would have to say Sylvester McCoy. And he's really funny as a man. He's really, really funny. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
When you're preparing for a role for, if I may, sorry. When you're preparing for a role for the theater, whether there's music or Marlowe or like a pirate that you have to learn how to do, you have weeks of rehearsal that you're able to use to kind of get in that place, which you don't necessarily have whenever you're preparing for something for television.
Yeah.
What part of your process to prepare for a role is always going to be consistent, whatever the project?
Oh, that's good. Read the script. I don't know, it depends on what job it is. I'm just trying to think I don't know if I have a process. I think it really depends on, like I do a lot of reading around the subject, but especially if it's something real. I've just finished doing this film, which I'm really proud of being part of. It's a BBC film called Danny and the Human Zoo, and there's a comedian in the UK called Lenny Henry who is quite a big deal over there, and it's about him growing up in Birmingham, where I'm from, in the 70s, and being the first kind of black comedian to come out, to be kind of proper mainstream at that time. And he ended up in a black and white minstrel show. Like, it was pretty, some extreme stuff happened. So it's a really important story to tell. And I got the chance to play a kind of really seedy DJ who's like a talent scout with a moustache. It's great. So I didn't need to do any research for that, because it's what I am. But I did a lot of research for that and went and spent time in, where it's set, and got to meet some people because it's based on a real person, so that was quite useful. I tend to try and learn everything really early, because I'm not very, I don't know, like, just to do as much work as I possibly can on it, otherwise, I don't like feeling like I don't know what I'm doing, if that makes sense. But sometimes you can't. Like, I just did Treasure Island in London, and the show got completely rewritten in the first week of the show. So we were on stage, and we'd come in the next day, and they'd have rewritten a quarter of the show, which we'd rehearse during the day and then do it at night time. So by the time we got to the end of that process, I didn't know what the hell was going on, which was really, really hard. I'm not giving you a straight answer, I don't know.
I'll accept it, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
What are the differences between filming and performing in front of an audience?
Performing in front of an audience, you get the chance to do it again and again and again and again. And my favourite thing about doing stage work is when you get to that point where you think you're really bored of it, and that you're being really dull and you're just repeating what you're doing, and then something happens that's never happened before and it changes your whole performance and you feel completely in the moment. And that's my first love of acting, and that's what I love doing. And you only get that. You can try and force it in rehearsals and try and force it on the first couple of shows, but actually you only get it by performing it for a while. Like in Russia, they rehearse for a year and then put the show on for 4 years, and still it's not ready. I kind of love that. It drives you mad, but it also means that you stop thinking and you just do it. And then doing it on TV is completely different. And I'd never wanted to do TV and film when I was growing up. I always wanted to do theatre, and I'm learning to really love it. And it's that thing of being prepared enough to make something happen in a moment that you weren't expecting, and I like that, and it's very rare, but it's kind of a similar thing, but with a much shorter time frame. Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. Doctor Who has long been known as a show that sends many positive messages in a society bombarded in negativity. Did this reputation affect your decision to audition for the show, and has it affected the work you've done since?
It's definitely affected me as a person and on my outlook on life. I have this is probably a really, I don't know, anyway. I have a thing where you can get ahead and also be a really nice person, and I think that's something. It was a real privilege to be part of something that is such a positive force and run by a load of people who really care about sending out good messages and positive vibes into the atmosphere. And I'm a big believer in carrying that on and trying to bring that to anything that you do. So, yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Don't be shy. Hello.
Hi. First, I saw you in once, and it was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So I was just wondering, you kind of mentioned it already, talking about living in New York and wanting to go back, so I was just wondering if you have any plans to go back to Broadway anytime soon.
I have no plans soon, but I'd love to do it. Depends on how long Legends shoots for and all of that stuff. I also have a life in London, which is very important to me. But yeah, I think part of my plan at some point is to move over there for a while and do some more of that, because I just love it over there. But nothing in the pipeline, but I'm sending positive vibes out into the atmosphere, hoping that, someone listens to it and goes, ah. So we'll see.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Hello. I was wondering what your favorite Doctor Who episode was to film?
I give a different answer to this every time I answer this question. So I'm basically saying I'm lying to you when I say because they were all, apart from a couple that were a bit too cold, they were all really, really good fun to film. I think 11th Hour, I think, is amazing. I think it's a brilliant piece of television, and one of the, what an amazing way to introduce a new Doctor. I think it's really brilliant. But then I think the series just blew up from that. And by the next series, the scale of everything was so huge, and the world was much richer and more real. And I think I was really proud. And I think the turning point of that was the Big Bang and Pandora Opens. And I think they were really great episodes, and I felt like I was filming Indiana Jones for a while. So that's all I really care about, actually, in my life. So yeah, those ones. And then, the pirate one, just because I got to be on a pirate ship with the pirates. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello,
Hi.
so I really love your parody of Let It Go. And I wondered if you could give us just a little bit of that.
Absolutely not. But isn't the internet a wonderful thing? Thank you. Thank you. Next.
Hi, thanks so much for coming today.
Thank you.
Your character in Broadchurch, this is the first Broadchurch question, so I'm going to try and make it be a good one. Your character, well, the entire show seemed to change from Series 1 to Series 2, and your character especially, and your portrayal seemed to change as well, and I was wondering if you could just talk about the evolution and how you're prepared for that.
I think it had to change because of has anyone not seen it? If you haven't seen it, I'm ruining everything for you. So put your fingers in your ears. I think for something that massive to happen to a community, it has to affect everyone. And I think, so much of it is the writing as well, not necessarily our portrayal of it, but I think I'm so proud to be part of something that dealt with issues like that in such a deft, intelligent, caring way. And Chris is another one of those. Chris Chibnall's another one of those writers who really cares about sending positive vibes out into the world. And it was, its subject matter is very, very upsetting, but I think it was dealt with in such a brilliant way. I'm not really answering your question, and. Yeah, I think it had to. People get changed by things like that, and I think to play a character like that who is trying to be a constant in the community, I think that was part of his struggle, which was, actually letting himself be fallible. Yeah.
Hello, well, thank you first. Thank you. Second, I have a two-part question. What kind of thought process and discussion went into the evolution of your character from kind of sheepish Rory to, let's face it, more badass Rory? And part two is, will you say the line, "Where is my wife?"
Right, so first part. There wasn't much discussion. I'm not going to lie to you, there wasn't much discussion at all. I just opened scripts and went, cool. That's what happened. I'd love to say that we all sat down and discussed and it kind of mapped my evolution as a person doing the job. I was quite terrified starting, and it was really useful playing a quite terrified character because I didn't really have to do anything. So yeah, there was no discussion. Where is my wife? Which was the alternative version, and they didn't go for that. Oh, where is my wife? So many options.
There's so many great adaptations going on, like the DC universe you're currently part of and Game of Thrones. Is there a project that you'd like to see adapted that maybe wasn't done right or that you could be a part of?
Ooh, that's a really hard question. Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to see?
I'm a huge Dresden Files fan.
I don't know what that is. Is there anything that I'd like adapted? I'm just gonna give me 2 minutes to think about it. They've never done Thundercats well. Like, no, do you know what I mean? Because in my head it's the best movie of the world. But I don't think they've ever done it well. So I'd quite like to see that. I'd love to see a musical of Labyrinth. I think that would be amazing. You guys love whooping. It's really fun. Yeah! There's nothing happening. Save your voices. Steam. Yeah, those are my two for the moment.
Thank you for your
so
time.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I wanted to ask you, if you met Rory in real life, would you get along with him?
I'd be quite intimidated by how nice he is. I think we would get on, but I'd be always like, God, that guy. Well, I can't swear on this, because there's kids. Can remember there's kids. I'd be like, God, that guy. I wish that guy could just do something wrong. Like, Jesus. Yeah, we'd really get on. No, I think we would. We're very similar. Yep. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm not as deep as everyone else here. So my question is, who's your favorite Disney princess?
You're my favorite. Is that your question?
Yeah, that is.
Cool. And a Little Mermaid. Next.
I was wondering, as an actor, who do you find that you've played that you relate the most to? And specifically with Rory, how do you relate to him as a character in terms of being similar?
Yeah, I think we share a lot of nervous tics. We have the same face. Yeah, I think you always have to relate to some part of your character. I mean, like, I've played the devil, do you know what I mean? Like, that was not as hard as you think to relate to. But you always have to bring something of yourself. And that, like, I find the fun of, you know, I play a lot of characters that are quite similar to me in terms of, so there's different things. There's the way people think of the world, and I catch myself going, oh, no, they wouldn't do that, and when I read it in the script, and then what I'm actually saying is, no, I wouldn't do that, but they definitely would. So, you know, there's certain characters that are quite close to me. I've also played, you know, I played the Oklahoma bomber as my first job out of drama school, which was a really hard thing to relate to, and that was a real big challenge. Yeah, but you always try and find something of yourself in it, I suppose, or not, or try and make it as different for you as possible. I just played Long John Silver in Treasure Island, and we're not very similar at all. We did have a parrot, which I aspire to have. So. Thank you.
Well, that other guy took mine. Well, so would you like me to repeat the question?
Very good.
We really would like to know where she is. But no, my backup question would be the most heart-wrenching episode, for sure. It's been on 10, 20 times in our house, and we still can't sit through it. In fact, while I'm working, I like listen to the soundtracks a lot. And if Together or Not at All is on, my daughter will walk in the room and walk right back out. So was filming Angels Take Manhattan as hard for you guys as it is for us to keep watching it?
It was really, we were really, well, for starters, Karen wouldn't read the script for ages because she was in total denial about the fact that it was ending. And we'd all sat down and discussed when we wanted to go, and it was a very mutual decision, and we were all thinking the same thing, and this was kind of a long time before, so we knew it was coming, and we were very happy, you know, as much as it's a sad thing, we were very happy about it, because I think the worst thing you can do is outstay your welcome on something like that, and I think it's good to leave. I'm a big believer in leaving things when they're good, but that makes it all the more hard as well, because you make a decision like that based on kind of something abstract, but when it comes to kind of actually doing it, it's a different story. So it was, you know, it was really hard to film, but we also were very, very aware that we didn't want it to be indulgent, and I think it's always, whenever a show finishes or a character leaves a show, whenever in any universe, in kind of on any platform, I think the temptation is, and it happened, that the mistake people make, I think, quite a lot, is they do make it indulgent, and actually you get to the point where you're just like, oh, just leave. So we were really conscious of not doing that, and we thought the script was so good that we wanted to just serve it and make it good. But yeah, it was really odd thing, and then we went back and shot pickups for it later. So it was like a really odd kind of leaving, non-leaving thing. And it hit home when I watched it. I watched it had a big party at my house and got a load of friends around and watched it. And it was weird watching it with people anyway. But then, yeah, really, really emotional. So, yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I think we have time for a couple more questions. Maybe we can get through the cycle.
Hi. My question is, since you've been on Broadway and you want to go back, if you could choose any play or musical to do, what would it be?
Labyrinth, the musical. We can make this happen. I don't know. There's quite a few. I'd love to do more Shakespeare. I'd love to do Richard II. That's a great play. There's so much stuff. I like working on new plays. There's a writer called Nick Payne who's brilliant, and I'm desperate to work with him on some stuff. Musicals are harder because I don't do the kind of musical thing. I've wanted to do Little Shop of Horrors forever, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know if that would ever happen. I'd like to play Annie. Yeah, that would be great. I'd like to do The Crucible eventually. I think that's a big one on my list. Let's clap some good writing.
Hello.
Hi.
I loved you in Doctor Who, obviously, and in Broadchurch, which was one of my favorite dramas I've watched lately. So I was just wondering, like, in Doctor Who, what was your most awkward scene to film?
I mean, it was a general wash of awkwardness. I learnt so much doing Doctor Who, and I really did start out as a very, very nervous. Like, the idea of doing this before I started would be the most terrifying thing in the world. Like, I've really got to know myself a lot better. I think that's just growing up, right? But I think also, for the first year, it was all pretty awkward. Like, I'm like it even when I start a new job. Like, first day of school, man, I just, I'm bad at small talk, and I make jokes that aren't very full. People don't get them. I think they're hilarious, but people just don't get them or don't realise that I'm joking. Yeah, so a lot of it was pretty awkward. Like, obviously when you have to kiss people on screen, it's weird, especially when me and Karen didn't really know each other very well the first time that happened, so that was pretty awkward. But, I don't know, yeah, it's all pretty, my life is just a series of very awkward moments, strung together by doing conventions, sleeping, awkwardly. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have time for one more.
Hi. I was wondering, I've come across on the internet
some articles and people have the opinion that Amy didn't treat Rory very well as a husband, and I would like to see if you agree with that or not.
I absolutely agree. I mean, come on. That's the thing, this is my problem with him. He's really nice. A bit too nice, because like, you just want to go, all right, fine, like, go. Don't talk to me like that, you know what I mean? That's why I have more arguments than he did. Yeah, but then he was in love with, like, love conquers all, right? And they were happy eventually, she just didn't really realise it. I kind of like that. I've got a friend who was just after his girlfriend for so long, and she